on a hike in Western Washington right now, and let's see what native flora and fauna we can find. The woods are so beautiful here. This is our native red huckleberry, which these will have pink flowers soon, and then some yummy red berries. All these lovely lady fern, and also our native sword fern. Both are native, but we have these everywhere. There's skunk cabbage. I actually hear raven too. I believe this is the northwestern salamander, and I just looked them up and they can grow up to 8 inches. This is the biggest salamander I've ever seen. This right here is a really fun trail find. This is called vanilla leaf, and if you were to actually break this off and smell it, it is really sweet smelling. It's so pretty. Here's a beautiful Pacific trillium. So this is pretty late bloomed. As they get older, they turn purple. But this is beautiful. So these actually take 5 to 7 years to bloom, and they're really special, so please don't pick them. This looks to be what I believe is a start of candy sap or pine sap, which is a myco-heterotrophic plant. I think this might be the one from last season, so that's super cool to see. This is called rattlesnake plantain, and it's actually an orchid, a ground-dwelling orchid, and it's beautiful. This is another native flower called a 3-leaf thumbflower. Cute. This is one of my favorite deciduous trees that we have. This is called a vine maple, and I just love how they light up the forest with their bright leaves. Look at that. Beautiful. That's a whole lot of vine maple. This is all another native flower that we have. This is actually called twin flower, and these get the cutest tiny little fairy pink and white looking flowers ever. This is the Pacific bleeding heart, another beautiful native flower. This is the yellow spotted millipede, and look what happens. Look at that. These are the flowers of the vine maple. They're like these little red and white flowers. They're so pretty. We got a huge nettle plant here. These are actually really good to forage, but this is a fun trailside nibble. This is actually called a candy flower, and if you wanted to, you could forage these and use them in salads, or just fun to take off the side of the trail. But at Stimson Preserve, there is no foraging or gathering, so I'm just gonna look at these today. These are my absolute favorite berry in the whole world. These are our native thimbleberry, and pretty soon these will have some flowers and then the best berries ever. On this standing snag, there are beautiful flushes of oyster mushrooms, and this is a really sought after edible, but I am not going to climb down there. And there's no foraging allowed here. These super spiky plants are called Devil's Club, and this is another native plant that you definitely don't want to go grabbing, but it has actually been used by indigenous people for years and years as like salve. You can make salves with them. People use them in healing, and it's a super cool plant with a lot of rich history. Just found a super cool mushroom. This is called an elfin saddle, and if you look at it from a certain angle, it really looks like a saddle. This is one of my favorite native PNW flowers. This is called a star flower, and it has 7 petals instead of 5, which most flowers normally have. These are one of the mushrooms that got me into mushrooming. This is called an artist conch, and it has this white porous surface on the underside that you can actually draw on, and it's been used in art for centuries and centuries. So cool. That is a big ass dog fur. Wow. This is a ginormous banana slug. Hi, baby. Look at that. It is slug season, my friends. Huge, huge big leaf maple. This is like the prettiest cluster of oyster mushrooms I've ever seen. That's so pretty. These super straggly white flowers are actually our native blackberry. So this is called trailing blackberry, and they grow closer to the ground and are much less thick than the invasive Himalayan blackberry. This log has a bunch of oyster mushrooms on it, but it also has 3 of these yellow spotted millipedes, which fluoresce under a blue light.